New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We are hoping that 2026 will be a better year than 2025. I'm expecting great things to come out of this year. I'm expecting to see big arrests. It is interesting that George Clooney chose this time to move to France. Like, why now? And you kind of have to wonder, what does he think is going to happen that he had to get out of the country and become a citizen of France? I think he's, you never know. You don't know. He was very instrumental in getting rid of Biden and having Biden step down so that Kamala could run for president. And we just never know what's going to happen. One of the things that I saw yesterday, I watched part of, was the New Year's Eve celebration that President Trump hosted in Mar-a-Lago. And it was actually a fundraiser for St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which, as you know, was started by Danny Thomas. And
Danny Thomas.
Most of you are probably too young to know who Danny Thomas was, but he was more known as a singer than anything else. He may have done some acting, but he was a singer. And his daughter is Marlo Thomas, and she was an actress of her own right. She's still alive. I hate to say it, but
Danny Thomas had a big TV show back in the day. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, he wasn't, you didn't see him in movies a lot or whatever. He was a performer, you would say. Yeah. And Marlo was, she did a show called That Girl. And she's
good memory.
Yeah. Well, I loved it. I loved her. I hate to say it. I shouldn't be critical of women who have their face done, but she doesn't look good to me now. I mean, all of the plastic surgery. I don't want to go into all of that, but I wanted to talk about the New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago because I watched just a little bit of the party, and President Trump, it was a fundraiser. President Trump had an artist do a speed artist to perform as the performance, I guess, at the party. And I am always amazed with these people. It is just amazing work that they do. I couldn't do it. Well, I don't paint anyway. I'm not
a speed painter.
A speed painter. Vanessa Horabuena. And her painting, this was, speed painting, you know what that is. She was up on stage and they were playing the most beautiful praise music. That's how she does her paintings. And she did, of course, a depiction of Jesus. And that painting was auctioned off right after she finished it for $2.75 million. That's a lot of money to me. And that's a lot of money for one painting by virtually kind of an unknown.
How big was it?
It was like this. I don't know how big this is.
That's about 4 feet.
Yeah, it might have
been. If it's 4 feet, then you might find a spot for it in your big house.
Yeah.
But if it was like 6 or 8 feet, then you're talking about museum.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how big it was, but I was impressed. I was impressed with the fact that this was the kind of the entertainment. I was impressed with this beautiful worship music. It was just glorious. And the artist herself said that it was the Holy Spirit fell on that place and his presence was palpable, and it turned into sort of a worship time of worship. And I was sitting there thinking, what other president would that be the featured artist or, the featured, whatever you want to say, piece. And I found it, and what a wonderful way to start the new year. What a wonderful way to start the new year with this New Year's Eve rendition. I also wanted to remind us all that Marjorie Taylor Greene has resigned and will be out of office as of January 5th. So if you're in her district and you want any attention from her, you just have a few days to do it. Also, Dan Bongino has resigned, as we know, and he's going to be out in January as well. I did see a comment in after we did the live stream yesterday that Lauren Boebert had resigned, and I could not find that anywhere. What I found was that she is not running for reelection in District 3 in Colorado, but she is running for reelection in District 4 in Colorado. I'm not really sure. My guess is that maybe District 4 is a little more Republican. I don't know. But Lauren Boebert was the first woman to unseat a Democrat or the first Republican, I'm sorry, to unseat a Democrat in Colorado in 48 years. That's a long time. And so kudos to her. She's one of those loudmouths that got elected, and I like her and kind of don't. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is another loudmouth. And it seems to me, I remember those two getting into a fight on the House floor. I mean, not a physical fight, but, you know, a yelling at each other fight, I guess. Are there any comments?
Yeah. Wendy Peppercorn says, I remember Danny Thomas. He was great.
Yes.
And then McKinley says Hans Conried played Uncle Tanus. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I remember Danny Thomas, but Uncle, are you writing this stuff down? Or are you taking notes or what?
No, I don't need to take notes of this. I don't know.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about Uncle Toulouse. Where did he go? He had to dig down the old memory trough for that one.
You know, he can Google it while they're sitting and maybe Googling while they're doing this. I did see. We're gonna segue a little bit.
Segue.
This is not an easy. There's a non sequitur here, but in any case, Russia. Just recently, I read this article where Russia reaffirms its commitment to Beijing. So we have Russia and China together, and they have made it very clear that any aggression against Beijing, against China, is going to be considered as aggression against Moscow. They have that they will not tolerate that, and they're specifically talking about China going after Taiwan. Taiwan going after China. In other words, they are supporting China in any.
Well, they're talking about if China attacks Taiwan, then theoretically the United States would come in to support Taiwan, and that's where the aggression. But it's still bad news. That is not the way we wanted that to go. We wanted Russia to come our way, but the war in Ukraine has another casualty. Anyway, well, just the general the concept that we wanted to try to pull Russia away from China, and that hasn't happened.
No, but you did find some interesting tidbit about Russia.
Yeah. This one is a puzzle. So put your puzzle hats on. And let's try to figure this one out. On December 30th, so that was
2 days ago.
2 days ago, Russia's military shortwave radio system, known as UVB-76, or the Doomsday Radio, stopped its normal buzzing noise. Now, buzzing noise on shortwave radio typically is high-speed coded communications, and started playing clips from Swan Lake, the famous ballet by Russian composer Tchaikovsky. The station has broadcast the same buzz since the late 1970s. The buzz happens about 25 times a minute. So that would be once every 2 seconds. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Yeah, okay.
I thought that was pretty good imitation of a buzz. There's only so many talents I have. They're very few, and if I can make a buzz, then let me alone.
Okay. But I think they get the idea. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, it also adds Russian voice messages with strange names, numbers, or codes, which, once again, that feeds into the coded transmission thing. Many experts believe UVB-76 is Russian military communication system. It could be a backup for cell phones, internet, or satellites if they fail in time of war, that makes sense. Some say it's linked to a nuclear fail-safe system, like what they call an automatic dead hand. And that would be if we launched a nuclear first strike on Russia, which will never happen. But if we did, and wiped out all of the Russians' top brass, then the dead hand would automatically launch their nuclear tipped missiles at their predetermined targets. Very doomsday-ish scenario that ain't gonna happen. The buzz keeps the channel ready for emergency orders from top commanders. Now, why Swan Lake? In the old Soviet Union, this song played over and over again on state TV during the 1991 coup attempt against Mikhail Gorbachev. This time, the music returned right after Ukraine sent 91 drones to attack President Vladimir Putin's house in Valdea on December 28, 29. Actually, I hadn't heard that, but we've been a little bit out of touch between Christmas and New Year's. Russia claimed they shot down all the drones, and now they're seeking revenge. And I say, look out, Zelensky. Swan Lake could also mean a swan song for one side or the other, because Putin isn't exactly very popular with his people right now. He continues to push hundreds of thousands of young Russians to their deaths in this battle space, unending battle space with Ukraine. So that's the Swan Lake story for today.
Okay, that's the Swan Lake. Well, who runs this radio show? It could be a swan song, but they wouldn't be telling Putin, we're gonna assassinate you.
Who knows? I mean, they do things for their own. They try to freak people out, try to get them guessing, try to put them off balance. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows what anybody is up to? But we have it's brand new year. This is the first day of a brand new year. So it's an opportunity for all kinds of new things. And we can take 2025 and throw it away.
Bag it.
Get rid of it and look forward. And as I've said before, I really do believe we're going to see a lot of arrests. I believe we're going to begin to see some interesting things happen. I still think, George Clooney was very effective in getting Biden to not run and setting the stage for Kamala. And all of a sudden, he's moving to France. And for some reason, I think that there's more to that than him just saying, I don't like President Trump. I don't know what it is. But we also still have the grand jury in Florida that apparently is going after Brennan and company, and anything can happen. But it's going to be a very interesting year. We're going to see a lot of changes. A lot of people, I think at last count, it was 47 people are not running for re-election. Elise Stefanik suddenly announced that she's not going to run for governor in New York as on the Republican side in the primary. So who is?
Wonder why. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, my guess was Family Matters.
Well, she said it was Family Matters. Yeah. She said she has a 4-year-old, and she said she needed to spend time with him. We don't really know why.
Yeah, that sounds legit to me.
Well, 4 is a, and I don't. It could very well be, but who is going to run? Lee Zeldin ran, and supposedly lost. And also too. We just had Mendami was sworn in as the mayor of New York. And I was honestly thinking President Trump would do something to stop that somehow. Some people were talking about deporting him or something.
New York's just going to have to suffer it. They think they're all smart and they can bring on Muslims, but that's going to have its own price. We've got some people in comments.
Mm-hmm.
McKinley S says being 78 has its real 50s memories. Talking about Danny Thomas, no doubt.
Yeah.
MGT, her past in Georgia is shady. You can just ask some conservatives in the area, and they said a long time ago, and they turned out to be right.
I've heard people saying that online. They made comments, and I see them saying, "We told you so." Apparently, she is. I don't want to use a derogatory term, but apparently she's a little flaky. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, now she's appearing on The View. I mean,
right.
That's all you need to know.
That's right. Yeah, she flipped really, but that may have been her plan all along. You know, I don't know. She was sort of a fluky person. In my
It may have
opinion.
been Trump told her, look, we don't have room for you in the Republican Party anymore. And so she tried to go make a bed somewhere else.
Well, she was mad because he wouldn't endorse her. She wanted to run for, was it governor or senator of Georgia? And he would not endorse her. So she got mad with him about that. And then she just
That's
sort of
right. I
spun
forgot
out
that.
of
That's the
control.
thing, Beth. You remember stuff.
Well, I don't know why. I just pay attention to stuff. She's the one who had her house swatted all the time.
Huh.
And she tells that, so it's actually funny, not funny, I guess, the story she tells about that. But we'll see what she's going to do. But I'm interested to see who's going to run for governor. You know, the governor can oust the mayor. So we have to have a Republican governor to get rid of this insane mayor that we have.
You know, another thing that Trump's doing, he just got a Supreme Court order that he had to withdraw troops from Chicago,
and
et cetera. And, you know, and instead of, you know, making his own rejoinder, you know, legal rejoinder to try to stop that, he said, yep, okay, well, we'll pull him out and watch what happens.
Well, I feel sorry for the people in Chicago. And
well, yeah, but I mean, that's the whole point. Okay, you want it that way, Trump says, you got it. And, you know, come back to me when you're tired of the new thing that you've got.
Well, you know, we talk about this a lot. I hate talking about this all the time, but it's kind of what's going on. There was a gentleman who the defund the police group, and I can't remember where this was, but the defund the police group in this area bailed this guy out of jail, and he murdered his wife, or the mother of his children. It was not his wife, but he got out of jail and murdered the mother of his children. And now this group, I mean, they should suffer the consequences of that. They bailed him out of, he shouldn't have had bail if he was that kind of person. And they bailed him out. And speaking of domestic violence, there's kind of an interesting situation. I haven't been able to see a whole lot about it, but Jill Biden's ex-husband, who the Bidens came after in I always forget, Delaware, right? The Bidens came after him. They came after his business. He was one day late paying his taxes for his business, and the IRS came down on them. One day, 24 hours, boom, they were there. So they did other things to him. In any case, he didn't seem to have any ill will towards her, but he wasn't crazy about Joe. And he remarried, and his wife was found dead when somebody called about a domestic dispute. Now, he has not been charged. He has not been taken to jail, but the whole thing is just a little odd. There was also a story that she had a heart attack. So it's one of these where I guess we have to wait until the ME, you know, determines the cause of death. I'm very sorry about that. Also, President John Kennedy's granddaughter just died at the age of 35 from leukemia. And that's just very sad. That would be Caroline's daughter. I don't even know how many children Caroline. I know she had a daughter and a son. I don't know if she has more children. But the son is the one who rants about RFK Jr. But this is very sad. I think her name was Tatiana. I'm sorry, I didn't look that up. But and so there's
this just in from the comments. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is running for New York governor as a Republican.
Oh, thank you.
Bruce Blakeman, a name we will soon know more about.
Do you know more about him? Is he a good guy? Should we be excited? Does he have a chance?
We should call him up and put him on the show tomorrow. I'm serious.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's good. I didn't know that. I'm wondering if he has President Trump's endorsement. Maybe that's why Elise Stefanik jumped out, because President Trump was going to endorse Bruce Blakeman. And
Really?
he is, he's Nassau County.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely need to pray for him, and we definitely need to support him. And I would support him over Hochul any day of the week. And maybe he will get rid of Mandami.
How far out of the center of the city is Nassau County? I don't know. McKinley seems to be from there.
Oh, I don't know, but every time I hear that county, I think of, NASA. I don't think of it as
Nassau.
Yeah.
Nassau.
Right. So there's that. Well, I would like to say, let's pray for 2026. We got to stay in the fight, because we're still in the fight. They are kicking and screaming, and we just really need to, as that video says that President Trump, that the White House put up, hold the line, and keep praying, keep declaring, keep prophesying, keep doing all of the good things, voting and paying attention to what's going on. I have a feeling 2026 is going to bring in a lot of rocky things. There's probably going to be some things that happen that may not seem good, but will turn out to be good in the end.
Gosh, it just struck me that this is New Year's Day. Oh. Wow, we're doing a show on New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, right. Well, see, New Year's Eve has never been, my mother used to make us, I never wanted to stay up that late, but she always made us stay up to wish the New Year in. And it was just, to me as a kid, I was just falling asleep. And she would say, and then you'd say, Happy New Year. And that was it. And we'd go to bed. So it was never a big deal to me. Even when I was older, I didn't really enjoy New Year's Eve parties, because it was just all this drinking. So, well, the only thing about New Year's to me is I have to remember to write 2026. And
Mike Diamond says this new year will be great.
Yes, it will be.
That's what Beth says too.
Yes.
I'll go with that.
It's going to be great. And we will be with you again on Monday. No, wait, what's tomorrow? Today is Thursday. Oh, we'll be tomorrow, Friday. See, I was thinking today was Friday.
Friday. See the funny cars.
We will be back tomorrow, and then we do not do news at Noonish on Saturday or Sunday, but we will be back tomorrow, and then we'll be back Monday, and we'll wait and see what the new year has in store. Okay. So God bless President Trump. God bless the United States of America. And God bless all of you
for showing up.
Thank you. And thank you for being with us. Yeah. Do you really want to end? See, that's what always